What's happening, Boot Junkies? Mike Delgadio here, back with another video on home studio setup for voiceover. The other day, I put out a video about buying discontinued microphones, and I realized I probably left a section out. And there's a problem in the electronics industry. It's not just in the audio industry, but across the board. But a lot in the audio and microphone electronics industry is that you can get counterfeits. And I figure since I suggested that you buy secondhand microphones, I should probably also have a discussion with you about how to identify and reduce your likelihood that you're going to end up with a counterfeit microphone, because it does happen, unfortunately. Now, sometimes you can just tell by the way something looks and feels if it's a counterfeit or not. And, maybe if your spidey sense goes off and it, tingles your brain a little bit that you're getting a counterfeit. But not always is it so obvious. And so I'd like to just go over sort of how you can tell if you've gotten a counterfeit, places that you can look, and just to show you sort of how prevalent it is. If you've ever been to the Rode Microphones website, you know that right on the top, like on every page, they have a huge red banner that says, if you buy it from Amazon, and lots of people buy that, like the NT1A and the NTG microphones, they buy them from Amazon. But it says across the top, if you buy this from Amazon, only Amazon themselves is an authorized seller, and that if it's fulfilled by Amazon, there's no guarantee that you're getting a valid, authentic microphone. And also, if you don't buy from an authorized party, you probably won't get a warranty out of it. So, for example, let's take a look. So we can see Rode's website here. They have their note that clarified it, that it's the fulfilled by Amazon are the ones that aren't. And fulfilled by Amazon means that somebody, a seller, packages up stuff, sends it to Amazon's warehouses so that Amazon can so it can come in an Amazon box, and Amazon takes care of all the logistics of it. But it's not actually sold by Amazon. It's sold by a third party that's using Amazon's infrastructure. Lots of stuff gets sold through Amazon that way. But if we looked for something like the Rode NT1A microphone, you can see right there on the screen, it says ships and sold from Amazon.com. They are the reseller, or they are the seller of this microphone. But right next to it, in another listing, you can find another one where they make it a kit. So you have an NT1A plus a stand or plus a windscreen or some other thing. And that will say it's sold by someone else. So this one happens to be sold by eStudio Star. Now, I'm not saying that eStudio Star is not authentic, but what I am saying is that there's a strong possibility that Rode will not honor the warranty if you're buying it through this company, if they're not an authorized seller. It could be a counterfeit. It could not be a counterfeit. You'd have to figure out if eStudio Star is actually an authorized reseller of this Rode microphone. Otherwise, it's not going to be a warranty. If you get a counterfeit, you have to deal with Amazon and cross your fingers and hope. It happens. It happens all too often. Some of the microphones that are really counterfeited quite a bit is the Sennheiser MKH 416. My shotgun microphone that you see in a lot of my videos. That one is counterfeited all the time. And there are guides out there that show how to identify if it's a fake. One telltale is if the end cap. Here, I'll show you mine. Is if the microphone itself has an end cap. So I'll show you mine. Mine is an authentic because I bought it from an authorized seller. But if this end comes off easily,
threads whatsoever on it, and it just slides off just like that. If you look inside, there's some sort of foamy stuff. Not sure, but yeah, that was the only loose part, and I was like, "What? $1,000 and you get this thing in the front?" But
If it just pops off or anything like that, that's a sign that you could have an inauthentic one. There are often, I can't see it in here, but sometimes on certain microphones, if you look at the plugs, the XLR jack, there will be certain symbols on the inside that you should look to see that they're the correct color, that they're correctly oriented, that the appropriate symbols are there, and they look like they're correct. Let me get another mic real quick. The Shure microphones are counterfeited quite a lot, and there are some telltales on Shure microphones. One, you can look at the symbols on the inside, make sure the pins are labeled, make sure there's a trash can with a sign through it, make sure it says Shure, and that is printed inside on the XLR jack itself. This printing shouldn't be like a sticker, an easily peeled off sticker. That would be a surefire sign that it's not authentic. On the inside of the microphone, there should be a green and yellow wire and a QC imprint on the capsule. If you get other colors like just red or black and red, or it doesn't have the QC indicator, that would be a surefire sign that you have possibly a counterfeit. So sometimes they'll make old microphones. They'll make knockoff microphones. And in fact, I'll show you how easy it is to find what I believe are the counterfeits. So in prep for this video, I went to this site, this DHgate. And look at this. Right on this page, they've got the SM57, and the SM57 box looks just like a Shure SM57 box. But that's a counterfeit. That's not a Shure microphone. There's the SM58. That's this microphone right here. It looks like that. Look at that box. Here, I'll get my box. See the box in that picture there? It looks just like my box. That SM58 box. It looks just the same. But you notice they have that Shure. They don't have the Shure written on there. Nobody's, people could put a sticker on there. They could, add an aftermarket printing onto it. That makes it look and seem like an SM58. These are not SM58s, especially not at buying in bulk at $47, right? That's $100. That's a $100 microphone, and that's what Shure is going to demand as the pricing for that microphone. And so look, we've got the Shure 55 down here, the Beta 87. All of these are knockoff microphones. They're not going to be the same. Another one that I found, there's this another website, madeinchina.com, that sells the BB mic, and the model is the small bottles capacitor mic. It's a counterfeit of the blue bottle or the blue, likely the baby bottle microphone. So I looked at the, some of these BB microphone. Let's see, it's a BB mic. Let's see, whoops. So for example, this microphone, I mean, if that's not clearly trying to rip off the blue bottle mic, and it, with a sticker or something, if you're not intimately familiar with the way this microphone looks, is it possible that you could accidentally purchase this as a blue, especially if somebody put this on a blue site, they put this on Amazon, they redid that sticker on there? To somebody who's naive, they might not realize they've gotten a counterfeit. Once you get it and once you use it, you're going to see that this $12 microphone is not going to work very well. It's not going to be the right weight. It's just going to be, junk, right? It's going to be junk. And that's something that you have to be prepared for. So eBay has a guide on identifying some Shure microphones. There's counterfeit, is a page on counterfeit Sennheiser microphones. There's guides on how to identify a lot of the counterfeit parts. It does behoove you, if you're going to be buying and the deal looks really like, wow, I'm getting an incredibly good deal. I'm getting a Sennheiser 416 for $500 instead of $1,000. You're really running the risk of getting something counterfeit, especially if it's not from an authorized seller of those microphones. So be aware of the fulfilled by Amazon, FBA, it might also say, or sellers whose stores you're not aware of, because some of these electronic devices, they do have to go through an authorized seller in order to sell this microphone. Otherwise, you really run the risk of getting a counterfeit, or at least one that won't be covered by warranty. The Shures, the Sennheisers, to a certain extent, my understanding that the blue brand microphones do get counterfeited. Rode gets counterfeited. Some of the other ones, I don't know. I don't know how often they're counterfeited. But if the deal looks too good to be true, if somebody's trying to pawn off a microphone as new that's half price, be skeptical. Be very skeptical. Check who the seller is and try and validate that that seller is, in fact, who they say they are and that they're authorized to sell that piece of equipment. So just to follow up to my recommendation that you can get good mics cheap secondhand, also be wary of counterfeits, especially if they're getting sold cheap as new through Amazon, through eBay, total counterfeit, lots and lots of counterfeit. If it's coming directly from China, be aware that it's likely a counterfeit. So if you buy something and the shipping says 30 days, that means it's going to be on a boat from China. It's going to take that long to get here, and it's very likely that it's a counterfeit. Very likely that it's a counterfeit, especially if it's super cheap. So please be aware of that. Please do your research if you're going to spend your hard-earned money on a microphone, especially a name brand on a deal that looks really too good to be true. Be skeptical and do your research. Know what you're getting into before you buy your microphone. I hope that helps. Now, go check to make sure you don't get a counterfeit. That one doesn't work. Record something amazing. Thanks.